I want to say
Boko pa.
Questions
Yes, a lot of questions. Now, Osha screen as well. I think the first question na Obesha somebody had two screens, no. Meaning the three best players of the tournament from the group stage. You see the round of 16 I bet to us called the quarterfinal. So anybody before na to us there was a question about match analysts, performance analysts, a video analyst, or more me and Sano. Those roles, you know, differences are. I don't want to. My name is a question writer.
I when you're right.
Yes, I think it's Juma, as I say, a very, very close. Differences in and Subebre. Now, I started from a match analyst. Match analyst, and usually say show coach be red card or cost times in man or cotton be in China or any discuss it. How a game they call. Match analyst focuses on the live games or tries to be breaking game down. Technically, let's me I can live match coder because game they cost now or breaking it down. Or bet me I predict say the first 15 minutes of the CNBC around the 60 feet to 70th minute changes when about and we had live game at cost now match analyst or about or yes Jumano. So share performance analyst there and Jumano quite different or focus solely on the performance of one kasani team no our bra only opposition be but how about evaluating systems and the coach and then the technical team with me and they are constructing a perfect plan for a certain game and performance analyst and then individually or try so with me and monitor certain players say our performance over the course of time to say are they really improving, are they depreciating, what's really wrong with certain players on one kasani team and on a performance analyst or and of course about injury load monitoring so or bet me analyze the performance at the training grounds actually coach they say now this guy according to my monitor now it's not really moving in certain kilometers as a now or the evaluation in data form I'm a coach now coach let me plan say this guy is not fit for the game until sometimes once a game will be dry you see a train say player be bet me pass it match fitness now the communication between the medical team and of course the performance analyst the message the head coach but for the video analyst the job cuts across performance analyst and then match analyst because opponent now one kasa team the kind of set ideas are all the team based on the weaknesses and the strengths of the opposition now the designer and you start game now almost switch off as a clear example analyst or Ghana who Juma ye pa. So Osha Brazil game now from the 9th minute to the 40th minute in the first half and you conceded 3 goals. On the average, that brings us to about 10 minutes beyond you conceded. That was before the World Cup. So I say analysts for pick that information. Talk about goals I conceded and the time differences are now stay between the first goal, sometimes the second goal and the third goal. So it means that Ghana switch it off mentally and momentarily. You concede pa by attitude near form now or more aside the go back that's got to do with video analyst message or the back the coach now my designer say yeah shop quickly once I shop or share once also rated because mentally they go off. So video analyst job cuts between the performance and the match analyst, but for the performance analyst it's solely about one kasani team without focusing on the opposition. For match analyst it's about their live games on a live match code and almost stands and almost send information at the back digital screen so I'll bench on so anybody and now moving on to the screen. Thiago Silva obviously account the 3 best players of the tournament thus far. Thiago Silva as a defender, as a leader, as a key organizer for Brazil, the Seleção. At the age playing for a very extreme attacking team. Now Osha the kind of ball or kata. Trust me, he's been doing some good job. Brazil they try to offend every bit of space in the final third and leaving these guys more a short fitness more a lucky pace because Thiago Silva has been doing the job. Messi is here and he's been working so tirelessly for the national side, the Abi Celeste Argentina. Obviously, Okan me 3 men of the tournament so far and Messi because he's the leader. Pressure on one's shoulders. Compared to certain legends of in Diego Armando Maradona, the performance and so they bet me a match up to that level. The Argentines don't care what they know. They say this guy Messi right here has to achieve certain limiter. And Penifona Yako drew on one. So pressure on Messi but he's been responding to the pressures. Now Kylian Mbappe 2018 one announced on this platform and I was also about BM and or movie on each and every day. I will say what improve. You can talk about the limitations within the technical profile when you play or dribble bebre in close spaces. But me pace Kakrano or anybody, it's the real asset Mbappe, Edidi Hon, and 3 players are more men of the tournament so far. No, Thiago Silva, Kylian Mbappe, and of course Lionel Messi. Now let's talk about the Netherlands and Argentina for game. No, not yet preview no kakra. It's all about the World Cup, and this is arguably the biggest game for I can watch them. Game no ever call it for many angles. Talk about history, whatever person ever discuss it. The electric atmosphere you expect to because stadium because we are talking about 2 giants footballing nations in the Oranje and then the Abi Celeste. Every single moment they treat football as a festival and already the gods of the ages like you are seeing here, Diego Armando Maradona, certain players are a feature and you bought a game no Ewolu Sahel, one of the iconic stadia Catafano at me provided my 50,000 capacity 20 kilometers north of Doha and a stadium we say located and it's expected so that me I hosted this legendary game and then and who expect a drama hodwa. You know the Argentines they really come to a tournament so I'm prepare some mobile Matthew Lao Miguel Antonio be the center man of the official game no and familiar faces come at Lahore the La Liga on Messi on the other players 2008 you know making a debut all La Liga 2014 qualifies ahead of Brazil now or Kahubi Ubenyano and Louis van Gaal, the fading forces of the old generation for the Oranje. Now almost also the last time these guys met the World Cup stage, you know, Ubenya and Robin or the Kayot Vijadum or call Argentina so Lionel Messi, Marco Ro, Lavezzi, all these guys, you know, but of course this is football. Uko bench then 2014, Net Di Maria and you remember these 2 guys and no one you feature make Danny Blind and Lionel Messi back on the bench for the Oranje, not Memphis Depay as a youngster, not also a bench one. So game no ever happen, and this is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best blocks in the World Cup history. Mascherano or blockade this ball from Iron Robin happens to be one of the best moments. Uyi Casillas, the save from Iron Robin, if you want, this happens to be, to me, one of the best blocks football provided on the World Cup platform. Mascherano denied and sent these guys to the penalties and we did a Mufimo. So game no ever feature certain familiar foes from the old generation and then to this transitional state. Game no be very cagey, very tight game. And then anybody expected. Now I'll take it back to 1998. The Netherlands won 2-1 against the Argentines. 99 it was 1-1. Now don't forget 2-1 has 1 goal margin. 1-1 has 0 goal margin, and then you are here 1-0, 0-0, and then of course 2014 the last time they also met the scoreline it's 0-0. And then the game required. So talking about from 98 to 2014, there's always been either 1 goal margin or a 0 rate. This is a tournament and as a gamer, it's so cage very tight and the margins you know are very slim. Shall be favor one and answer one based on this evidence. Bad day so between a predict so be show me answer we have show before. Now this was a question thrown at Frankie de Jong said a quite best soon when Messi about pen me I hold it down and tight and Lionel Messi in the movements pitch so well no that was the answer Frankie de Jong. I know Leo but I don't know how to stop him. Onimleo in person, but say baby tactically you're close to know you're marking out you know there. Frankie de Jong catcher say when he's a player who has made the differences in the last 15 years and there's no one and no way to stop him. This is Frankie de Jong talking and comparing Messi over the years, the last 15 years, how this guy has been so much dominant. Every single team be feature. And so clearly, Netherlands need a single antidote individually. The best stop. It's down to a teamwork, and the best stop arguably the greatest player to step on the football pitch. Now, you're game. It's down to the 5-3-2 formation from the Oranje, and then and it will be so tight. Tight in the sense that you have about 5 players at the back in a 3-back system. 5 players, you can count them. 5 players to number 3-man midfield with a lone pivot. And this is the kind of setup the Oranje will be setting up today. In the final third, you have 2 direct and pacey strikers, a leading line in a 5-3-2 formation. So this will be the setup manager Louis van Gaal game. But One thing I bet on so they say the Dutch they've been a national team who are talking about possessive football. Omona are reinventing over the time. And this man Louis van Gaal Barcelona no crowd on AOB. But this team or the back Catalan is quite the contrast. It's quite the opposite. They don't really sustain their pressure on possession. They always direct and they love to have the spaces in between the position half. Talking about the wing backs, the lone forward, the two players that stays in the half spaces. This gives them the strength to maneuver their way through. And we are also talking about 5 players. That is the reciprocal of that 5-man back. So I'm not turning in the final third. It means you have 5 strikers, 2 central midfielders, and then you have the back 3 as the central midfielders are cater for the space. So usually formation, you know how every veteran on the ball it changes. Talking about certain movements around the box, it's the definition of the total fluidity within the setup. Louis van Gaal Adiaba movement is very flexible. They are not playing with that kind of static nature. Say you are number 9, so on one junior 9. That is not the kind of situation we will be expecting against the Argentines. Now, one thing I've shared on so said, how many players can we count here? You can count about 5 players here. The Orange always continue to stay very deep, especially this tournament. And look at the passing network. This is the passing network. So it means they've always been dominant on the ball, but in their own half. They're leaving only one man. Look at the data so well. Only one man in the final third, and that is Cody Gakpo. This is a striker, Olidi Lino. Omama Kenyina deep, including the wing backs, Dumfries, and then Memphis Depay. Now, Omar Rivera deep. That is the kind of penetration now. Odibe Real Omutimuma. So tough. 3 key assets. And I'll be showing on some Omutimum. 1, Ayomu hold that play. Now, this is a team that sits so deep. Almost sitting so deep means about 8 players in their own deep defense. You need a certain ball holder in the final third, like Memphis Depay. That is him. Check about the distance between Memphis Depay and the other players. The closest player in the final third is this guy, Cody Gakpo. So it means you need somebody who is very much stronger, but hold the ball down and send more transition into the final third. So Memphis Depay with his strength on the ball has been doing this job for the Orange. And the second asset within their setup is the ball carrying ability of Frankie de Jong. In midfield here, you have Frankie de Jong or Reverti about midfield. Whenever he has the ball at his feet, how to progress, irrespective of how many players are around this situation, you can count them. How many players here? But Frankie de Jong is standing alone here. As soon as Obeji ball quickly, then he can maneuver his way through. And that is the kind of player the Dutch for a build or midfield, So in a 3-man midfield, he stays as a low pivot. And how progressive on the moment, you would obviously love it. Now the other asset, making it the 3rd asset within that setup, the quality of the wing backs. Dumfries and then of course Danny Blind. They are always marauding the flanks, always creating the hub. But they caught the final third where you see them always controlling their affairs. Now against the USA, you remember it was a wing back to wing back in the box. That is player friend is Danny Blind. Now all connected from this point and then to this point. What you need to realize at the end of the day is how he really connected to Dumfries around the box. And it was so nice. The chance was created here to the wing back. So watch your screen so well. This was how the chance was created. So 3 players will occupy and stay narrow in the box. But on the edge of the box, at the end of the expansion, you have the wing back in Danny Blind, and of course you have Dumfries. And these are the situations that we're going through against the Argentines. It's a game. Netherlands ever tries each and every time you want the ball back from a Machirono, ball through the wing back, just you are seeing on the screen. And the creativity is not on a central number 10, but out here. The Dumfries and the Danny Blind connection will always be showing. I'm not sure from the group stage till this point, they've been depending on this for goals and creativity. Are they barring this for another method? I don't think it's happening like that this time around. Always a wing back to wing back. They've been creating lots of chances, always been shuffling with the central midfielders. There was one question I said, why would they show Omechi Mama? And that is why I say, Baba Raman Kona Nimua, system no when the cater na chidema no. Dumfries is in the final third, but the system has provided for somebody okay on the chiwa no. And that is how we talk about systems and rotations. Louis van Gaal elbow juma, and it will be down to how obetimi Ashesh and Niyama de Tiomo talking about the build up, the basis or the foundations of the team. You know, the partnership between Virgil van Dijk and then Aki. These two guys happens to me, in my perspective, the two best centre backs in partnership are more a feature our Qatar. They play closer to the left side. Nathan Ake is on the other side, but it's so surprising. This is a national team or the 4 quality centre backs Echo World Cup. You know? I mean, how many countries can have this? They have Ake, they have Timber, Virgil van Dijk, and of course Matthias de Ligt. All of them are playing for a top-notch club. Obi club is might be Ajax, but Ajax is a dominant European force. And this is the quality they possess within their setup. Now on the ball, they have enough quality. This guy, Matthias de Ligt, hasn't been consistent for the Orange. 3 players in a feature, and they have off and on the ball quality. Boni Kromwa, they are so much good, and without even the ball, the organization has been good. Now, you say most often, say Osha against Ecuador, Netherlands finally reverting into their own half for Hineba. Saki because a ball Ecuador, they will be comfortable. Ball retention play very solid. Naka call for the Netherlands, but Omu City deep allowed the Ecuadorians to decide the tempo of the game, because a 200 almost strength every single, and this is the start, the data from the Qatar World Cup I can watch them. Now this is the PPDA, the passes per defensive action. Anytime we have 2 oppositions and 2 teams, what time and one opponent and the other opponent on the ball and Sanwa pressing. The most pressing team or Qatar Mexico, the Tosso Ecuador, and the Tosso Niensano Netherlands. It means on about 9 passes here. Now Netherlands for not try say omo close away. Maximum 9 passes. Now I'm try say omo close, they will be putting the pressure on you. So irrespective of their setup being a bit defensive, in my opinion, they have always been pressing. That is the position of the centre back. Timber, you earlier saw Natanake. They don't even care about their position. So ball number 9 now we're in the final, they can follow you until they win the ball back. So this is a setup summed up from Louis van Gaal, how or the facing the Argentines. 5-man backline over Juma, and forget about the opponent, whether Senegal or whether USA. Every opponent, the system has always been the same thing. It's never going to be different against the Abi Celeste and the area anymore. Now, one thing I said before the World Cup, the SG expected goals was about 4.21. It means Netherlands for no concede at 4.21 until the round of 16. But I concede 2 goals, and that means under. I see under concede even better record and show her. For the Argentines, everything solely lies in the movement and the actions are like no Messi ever done at the all pitch, so. But of course, it also depends on how the Orange able to close to Messi down. They have a very perfect system that can always penetrate. This was a 5-3-2 from the Mexicans, but who say Messi and then the boys, I'm making sure say a Colombiano and it's so tight. Say the Mexican setup. So but look, this is the base of the Mexican defensive. And shape is so tight. How can you go through or maneuver your way out? And this, even with this, Argentina share 2 goals. So if indeed say Orange the similar low block I am so sure Argentines would obviously find a way to penetrate. And this is the kind of setup Argentina for the bar. So and a very extremely defensive side versus an attacking side who stays very compact, and the show say at the end of the day we win the game and I say what we need to do, what we need to understand the margins are a bit deciding in the game. Now talking about the 2 teams, maybe some share me line up now me see what's their preview. And Osha usually this guy has always been working miracles for the Argentines and make Enzo Perez. He was not Enzo Fernandez. He was not the main man of our tournament, But one thing on the Babashan on Sunday said, "Wababe joining a Rodrigo Di Paula or Mubo Jumai." The lineups, Baba Andrew Nope, the tallest goalkeeper in Qatar, and a better goal post room. Ediamado Orange, his dice, his reflexes, his anticipation, and his commanding. This team, the Orange, must stay very tough. I've already spoken about the back 3-5-3, a lot of quality off the ball, a lot of quality on the ball as well. Natanake playing through the left channel. Virgil van Dijk always be the center man, and of course we have Julian Timber without Matthias de Ligt, Omumi and Sano Nebe Mashali Echo. And we are talking about a system that really progresses through the wing backs. Now Danny Blend and Dumfries would always be playing their role very perfectly for Louis van Gaal. Indeed, Opesa Owene in the game now. They are the creators. They are the creators. So without central creators, these guys have been the two players Omoya Jumano, Ediama the Orange, and the 3-man midfield no ebe feature a certain David Klassen, Frankie de Jong, the main man Martin de Roon. So 3 players were in the ball Jumano, but the obvious liberal man, the man that plays in the freedom, Frankie de Jong or Mashali in Fifio. Even though this guy is number 10 in David Klassen, but he doesn't dribble, he's only like a touch to go midfielder. Bet me about the orange, you know. And okay, obviously I got 2 players, and I'll be going with Cody Gakpo and then Memphis Depay in a 3-5-2 system, direct and pace, and system no manager no uploaded the so can this really put them through the next phase of the tournament? It's another question for the Argentines. This man has been the main man in midfield in Rodrigo de Paul. As to how or by return, because no certain concerns on health kakra and no could be it's a bit dicey as to so to a feature and our own feature, but irrespective, Emiliano Martinez and about start to go post to Ediama de Abi Celeste and then Molina this youngster Marcus Acuna. These 2 guys, you know, and a bubble fullbacks in a 4-3-3. But from a centre back, first choice will be Nicola Otamendi. Or no, they are very constant. Say, I keep saying, you change it down foundation during renovation. So the basis has always been same. But this role shouldn't be Christian Romero for an obvious reason. This guy has pace on the game, Martinez over Romero. So and there's a person for or fat. Even though he's short, Manchester Fono will tell you or good or only height, but a good jump over to a ball. So alongside Otamendi, very robust. So I better to say these 2 strikers, defenders, and any support from midfielder Enzo. Anytime there pressure so with here I'll be going for Martinez. Now 3-man midfield no be McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, and then Rodrigo de Paul in a 4-3-3. What you need to understand here is creativity in here. Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez. Forget about that guy at Inter Milan. He's not been doing so. Martinez, that striker, he's not been responding to the creativity of Lionel Messi. But this is a big game, arguably for the calendar year, and I'll be going for Angel Di Maria to feature alongside Messi and then Julian Alvarez. So 4-3-3, but Ekoye boot for boot and Yemi boot for boot means Martinez, Otamendi, and then Romero would come back into the starting lineup. That would be a 3-man back line. Molina, Marcus Acuna will be the 2 wing backs. 3-man midfield, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, Rodrigo de Paul, Ebe Marshall in Finfio. It means Yakati attack you earlier saw 3 strikers in Di Maria. Di Maria is out of the 3-4-3 system, and I'm way. So it means if indeed the 2 managers decided to call for boot, 2 strikers, 3 quality midfielders, and then of course 5-man back line. Now Emi Martinez, Etimi Aboichiro, and I said other go post him. We are only waiting for Lionel Scaloni, why he really thinks ahead of the dead side, what he's seen. The analysts for how they put themselves together. Ebe show. So indeed, are they progressing? Are they putting the game on the penalties like we saw the last time these 2 guys met? Or changes be for Croatia and then Brazil or anybody? Midikai can want some say. Brazil, a weakness is falling on the ball whenever they have the ball in possession, based on their structure they set up. Now, Marquinhos, Militao, Thiago Silva, these 2 guys, and now 3 guys in the ball. In central midfield, you have Danilo, who inverts as a new midfielder in pivot 1. Casemiro stands to be the pivot 2 in a double pivot. And then, of course, you can always change in the final third and final set. How's the team moving like? So here you have a winger, Rafinha, and then of course Vinicius Jr. This gives a lot of superior control, non-territorially. It means area hanya Brazil there, but because they have so many bodies, they have a lot of players in the final third. It gives them a lot of control. Some people say, into a position that they can always do it. But the opposite, the disadvantage is that you have just 3 players here. Just 3 of them, and Ekobani Sano Hineba say Ulusu born in the final third. Are you telling me Thiago Silva has a pace to track back it's going to be tough. Do you tell me Marquinhos at this point can always be relied on? So on a Juma Farmer way and also on Fanya Juma way. These are the situations and the Croatia bet me I take advantage of. But talk about the two teams, any probable 11. So you go through Kakrebina and it's going to be the 4-3-3 against the 4-2-3-1. So obviously, two teams have bought very expansive football, and we have the goalkeepers here: Dominic Livakovic and then Alison Becker. Doing the better goal post room. An experienced goalkeeper against a youngster from local club Dynamo Zagreb. But and then on the stage, and the right side of the defense, Litao and then Juranovic. These two side players, and they bought right back position, and then the left back Danilo and then Bona Sosa. About the left back and then the left back for Brazil, Croatia respectively. Talking about the two central defenders, obviously Marquinhos, this guy was there in 2019 and route to the final. He was a key figure at the Croatia team. I mean, Lovren, club side for Liverpool, but oh boy, Josko Vardiol has been a revelation for the Croats. He's been doing some massive job, showing some kind of respect and duty at the senior in Lovren. And your central midfielder, the central defensive midfielder, Brozovic, Casemiro. About Europa, I mean, only three defensive midfielders, so they will be coming up against each other. And then you may Lucas Paqueta, Mateo Kovacic, me two players are on the message a place. So yes, team now. No. This is a 4-3-3 with two central midfielders. Now Luka Modric, other complementary the base, the 4-3, no, and then you have here two double base. So the differences are that while Brazil will be going for Casemiro, Paqueta double pivot, it's never a double pivot, it's a lone pivot from Brozovic. And then these two guys will be playing a hybrid role, a number 10, number 8 hybrid role. And that is the kind of formation anymore. And Brazil are going for a typical number 10 in Neymar. Now in Rafinha here. So Neymar will be given the freedom, like I told you earlier. Argentina setup. You have Vinicius Jr., Kramaric is always, and it has been the system. Perisic also be there. So share this formation, it's like the hybrid. Any single thing you see here, Perisic can defend, it can also revert back in the final third, and the 4-3-3 against the 4-2-3-1 will come to demonstration this afternoon. It's a tough game on Hineba. Say Busamia. This is like the pyramid. The attack state scenario, a bad defense and a court defense and it's like a formation like the pyramid. But this is the 4-3-3. Two quality midfielders, a protected and attacking trio of Vinny Jr., Neymar, and then Rafinha. You have Richarlison as a low man. But this is not a low man deal. It can be Perisic, can be Kramaric, it can be Petkovic. A very fluid attack, very flexible. But this has always been Richarlison as a lone man, and then these guys will be changing positions. Very, very big game. Croatia versus Brazil it's always a big game on any day. But to me, the Netherlands and then the Argentines, the game happens to be the game of this particular day. This is a preview of two teams, game in a minute.
The video analyst, Newton Lartey, any training can you be done one bar?